Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Florence Danila and I'm from the Australian National University. Today we're going to explore the world of plants and how plants react to different temperature in relation to climate change. So climate change has been frequently felt globally. Now we have more frequency of drought or water limitation. We also have a lot of heat waves. And today we wanted to find out how those kind of changes in different weather conditions or extreme weather events affect the plants that surrounds us. Of course, plants are very important because they are our main food source. So today we have here a setup where we can see simply how we can test those effects of extreme weather events to plants. So to facilitate the different weather conditions, we have here an ice pack. So this will simulate the cold temperature. We have here a light source. So this light source actually gives off a bit of heat, and so that will simulate the heat temperature. And then we have here a portable thermosensor or thermogun where we can get a measurement of that temperature. So what we will do here, first, we have here several plants. So we have plants that thrive in desert areas or really hot and dry areas. We have a plant here that thrive in cold weather conditions like a winter. And we have here an indoor plant that we feel is sensitive to hot and cold conditions. So of course, when we do our measurement of the leaf, we will know what temperature it is under normal conditions. Now, it is obvious that if we treat it with heat or cold, the temperature will fluctuate. But what is interesting here is how the plants recover from that. And by measuring the time it takes for them to recover back to their normal state will allow you to know how the plants acclimate to different temperature changes. So why is it important that we know what time it will take for a particular plant to go back to its baseline temperature? When the plant actually experiences a climate change, there are plants that are more susceptible and more tolerant to those changes in temperature. And so by doing this experiment, we will have an idea which plants are better suited to be grown in those areas that are more prone to drought or hot conditions, and which plants are more tolerant or suited to grow in winter conditions. What we will do, we will first measure their ground state or their normal temperature of the leaf. Okay, so let's start. So we'll begin with this plant, which is an indoor plant. And so what you just need to do, so this one, if you press this button, this will have a laser. And that laser, if you point it to the one leaf of that plant, then it will give you a particular measure of the temperature. And then we have here a worksheet where you can record the temperature that you will be reading from this gun. After that cold or hot treatment, we will also record the time it takes for them to recover to that baseline temperature. So that's really important because we wanted to know how different plants react to different temperature conditions. Now with this laser, I think it is important for me to take note that you shouldn't point it to your friends, especially to their eyes, because this laser is only for measuring temperature, and the laser might be dangerous to point to each other's eyes. Okay, so let's start. Point the laser onto the leaf, as you can see, and then as we release it, it will have the beeping sound, and then we will now have a display of the temperature on the screen of the laser. We will record the temperature that we already measured for the baseline. So that would be, the baseline for this plant would be 21.7. Now we will do our treatment. So the first row here, or treatment time, is 5 minutes. And so I think we will do the heat treatment first. So that means we will use the torch. And then I have here my phone as a timer. So we can start for 5 minutes. Okay, so now 5 minutes has passed, and we will then re-measure the temperature for this particular leaf. So again, point your laser gun on the leaf. And then now, the digital display says 29. So from 21.7, the leaf temperature now is 29. So we will then again record it to our worksheet. Now, the last column says time taken to return to baseline. So that is how much time it will take for the leaf to actually go back to 21.7. So you just put your stopwatch and then hit start. And then while you're doing that, again, measure the leaf temperature and see how much it will take for the temperature to go back to 21.7. So at the moment, I'm reading 27.4. So that means it will take some more time. So I'll measure it again because this could be quick or this could be long. 25. So we're actually going downhill here. The time it takes to recover to that baseline is what differs each of the plant. Okay, so we'll test again. Yep, and now it's at 21.8. So that means we have achieved our baseline after 7 minutes. So I'll stop the stopwatch. And so time taken to return to the baseline temperature now is what we will record. It's 7 minutes and 10 seconds. So we'll just put here 7.1 minutes. Now you can do the same thing for the other plants that you are curious to know how they actually react to or recover from different heat treatments. And so after we did the heat treatment, it is now time for us to do our cold treatment. Just so we will have an idea whether the time it takes for the plant to recover from cold treatment will be the same time it will take for them to do in a cold treatment. So to simulate our cold temperature for the leaf, we will then use this ice pack. So at the moment, the temperature that we've measured is 21.1. So again, let's set up our timer for a 5-minute treatment. And so we just need to put the leaf directly in contact with the ice pack and time that for 5 minutes and see what will happen. All right, so the 5 minutes is up. The timer is now sounding off. Now we will do the measurement again. So for this particular leaf, our measurement is at 11.4. Yep. So again, we will record that value in our table. Now, same as our heat treatment, we will measure the time it will take for that leaf to come back to its baseline temperature. Yep, so after 6 minutes and 27 seconds, our temperature now has gone up to 19.2. So our target is 21.1. So at the moment, I did the measurement again, and we are at 12 minutes and 40 seconds, and the temperature has now gone up to 20.3. So I'll just put it here in our worksheet, 12.58 minutes. And if we compare for that same plant, when we treated for 5 minutes with heat, it took it 7.1 minutes to go back to its original temperature. While with cold, it took it 12.58 or almost 13 minutes. That means this plant is more sensitive to cold than to heat. And so now that we have done one plant as our example for our demo today, you are now welcome to go and find out how your other plant would respond to both heat and cold temperature. And so by doing that, you will identify which plant are more suited for winter season and which plant is more suited for summer season. So there could be a lot of factors while this discrepancy in terms of the time it takes after heat treatment or the time it takes to cold treatment for the same plant. And one of the factors would be because this plant can withstand more tropical conditions rather than more temperate conditions, but also the structure, ultrastructure, or the structure of the leaf itself could have been different and better suited for those particular temperatures. Photosynthesis is a very important process in plants because it's how they produce their food. An important structure in the leaf that is having a big factor in photosynthesis are their stomata. So stomata are those pores that we can find on the surface of the leaf, whether it's at the top or at the bottom. And they facilitate the entry of that carbon dioxide to be able to undergo the photosynthesis process. But at the same time, there are also exit points for the water to go out of the plant. In terms of heat treatment, for instance, the stomata of the plant should be able to allow that regulation of the opening or closing of that pore. Therefore, it is very important for plant to be able to balance out that entry of carbon dioxide and exit of water vapor, especially at drought condition or really hot temperature. This is a standard compound microscope where we can use to visualize the image under a higher magnification. And each of those compartments are actually individual cells in the leaf. So I have here another plant from the collection of plants that I've shown earlier. So let's try to see and look at it under the microscope. And so for this particular leaf, we can see the stomata better. So the stomata corresponds to this particular structure here. And so you can actually manually count how many stomata for this leaf surface area. For instance, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now, if we can identify plants that can withstand those different temperatures and still produce more food, then that will improve our food production and ensure food security for our next generation. And so that concludes our demonstration for today. So now that we've done all the treatment, we can now identify which plants are more tolerant to cold or heat temperature. We also managed to see how the plant differs in terms of their stomatal properties. And so now you are ready to explore your surrounding, look at all the plants that are available around you. So have fun doing all this experiment, and thank you so much for watching.